Afternoon peeps, hope we're all doing well. Been a bit quiet recently, mainly because just the other day I went and sat down and I did my back in. So I've not been out and been able to do anything. But I'm getting there, I can at least twist myself around a bit. But it is doing my head in a bit because the weather outside is absolutely beautiful. And as you know, I like going tabbing. But obviously, with my holiday coming up next week, I'm going to Center Parcs with the family. I just want to make sure that I'm fit and able to go on my holiday. So I'm giving tabbing a bit of a break at the moment. But as I've always said to all of you, yeah, listen to your body. When your body tells you there's something wrong, listen to it. Because I'm telling you now, I've been in pain for the last couple of days. So I thought I'd actually do a video indoors and let's discuss about my my music and my guitars. So I'm going to begin with the very first guitar that I ever bought. This is a, it's quite on the stand. This is a Crossfire Stratocaster. Now, this guitar I bought from a charity shop in a place called Oadby. It was out of Oxfam in Oadby, and it was sat in the window, and it's brand new, or it was brand new. I've had it about 5 years now, and came with the amp and everything else with it. The only thing it didn't come with was the tremolo bar, which I've had to buy. But this was 200 quid's worth of guitar setup, you know, with the amplifier and everything. And I got it for 30 quid. Now, what it was Lisa kept saying to me as I kept looking at it, why don't you buy it? It's 30 quid. If you don't like it, we can flog it. Yeah, and you'll get your money back. Well, more than your money back. But it all came about because of the two guitarists out of the Zufflers, both Dino and Dan, kept saying to me, you ought to take up a guitar. So I bought this. The actual strap, close to my heart. This was bought for me by my lovely granddaughter Lily. We'd gone to a music shop out in Stoke, and she saw this guitar strap and said, my granddad, we've got to get you that. So, like I say, it's a Stratocaster copy. It's not one of the expensive ones. There's no point in me buying an expensive guitar, because if I'd have done that, I'd have spent thousands of pounds and then found out that I wasn't into guitar at all, and I didn't want to do that. So, like I say, that was the very first one I bought. And I say, it's Crossfire. You can get them now, I believe, for around about £100 odd. But if ever you're thinking about taking up the guitar, yeah, please look at it first. Look at the pricing. Don't go and spend a lot of money on something that you may only pick up and never use again. I mean, my very first guitar was bought for me by my mum when I was 14. Me and my mate Steve Berry, we were going to be the next Thin Lizzy, yeah. But the guitar lasted about, I don't know, 6 or 8 months. That was in the day of the Burt Weedon book. Those of you that might remember those. And like I say, took about 6 months. I gave up on it. I now use an app called Musician, and I've now been going nearly 6 years now with the guitars. So that's how I started off with that very cheap guitar. My next guitar that I bought, I actually drove all the way to Manchester for, and this was going, bloke was selling it. It's a, what I call a Paisley SG, and as you can see by the shape, yeah, and if you look on online, you'll see the Gibson SG. People like Angus Young play this type of guitar. And again, when I went and bought this, I went up to Manchester to buy it off the guy, and I'd only been playing probably about 6 or 8 months, but I loved the look of it. I absolutely loved it, and it was going nice and cheap. This one cost me 60 quid. Yeah, like I say, it's a Paisley copy of an SG. So I'm not spending a lot of money, but Lisa will tell you, she's telling me to stop buying guitars. But it gives a different tone altogether to the Telecaster. Sorry, Stratocaster. And I love it. Absolutely beautiful guitar. Yeah, mint condition. When I met up with the guy that was selling it, we were discussing things and we were saying about how we'd both only been playing probably about a year. Bear with me while I get this back in its stand. But we've been playing probably about a year. And I was struggling with chords, he was struggling with riffs. So we tried to help one another. And he said to me, do you want to have a quick play of that before you take it away? I said, yeah, if you don't mind. And he wheeled out a Marshall amp. Now this Marshall amp, when he wheeled it out, was massive, big cabinet amp. And I looked at it, he says, me, how much do you think I'll pay for this? I said, you've got to be talking somewhere in the region of £1,000. And he said, no, I paid 150 quid. Someone was selling it on eBay. So we plugged into it, had a bit of a jam session together. I was playing riffs, he was playing the chords. And obviously I then brought it home. But after that, I thought about the fact that I'd like to try something totally different. Yeah, as in a bass guitar. And as I might have mentioned before, I'm a big Thin Lizzy fan, huge Thin Lizzy fan. I saw him back in 1974. Phil Lynott, absolute icon, really is. But I decided I'd like to have a go at bass. Well, my son-in-law, is an accomplished guitarist. He's got all sorts of guitar. I think at one stage he had about 8 or 9. And one of them being a bass. Well, I tried his bass guitar, and with the long neck and my short arms, I was struggling a bit. So I looked around for what we call a 3/4 length bass guitar. And there was a young lady who was an accomplished celloist in an orchestra towards Stoke Way. Yeah. So I travelled out there to have a look at this thing. And here it is here. Again, it's not an expensive one. This is a Gear for Music 3/4 bass. In a sort of Stratocaster sort of shape. The only difference is I'm using now, instead of using wires, I've got a wireless system on here. The other thing that I did change on this is, as you can probably see, it's got what they call a mirror pickguard. And those people that know anything about Thin Lizzy will know that Phil Lynott had a mirror pickguard on his guitar. So it was one of the first things I had to change when I got this bass guitar. I've also got on the end here a tuner. Yeah, it's called a Snark tuner. So I can tune the guitar, simply just plug it in, just pluck on a string, and then using the adjusters I can then tune the guitar in. I love playing this guitar. It also helped me after my stroke, due to the fact of manipulation of my fingers. I was struggling. We did put the guitars away for a good couple of months, just purely down to the fact it was upsetting me, the fact that I had the guitars there and I couldn't play them. And then using some finger trainers, I managed to get some manipulation back into my fingers. And the bass guitar made things so much easier, just purely down to the fact that it's only got 4 strings on it. Yeah. So, like I say, I haven't spent a lot of money. I must admit, when Tom, my son-in-law, comes around, we have a look at guitars online that we can't afford. And Fender, Gibson and all that, you're talking probably a cheap one, you're talking somewhere in the region of £2,000. But even then, like I say, Lisa tells me that I've got to stop buying guitars. But obviously the whole thing about a guitar, I'd like to take it away with me when we go on holiday. Lisa and I got a caravan. And obviously it's no point in trying to take my electric guitars away because I've got to take the amps and everything like that with it. So, for one Christmas, Lisa bought me this lovely acoustic. Now this is what we call a Tanglewood electro-acoustic guitar. Yeah. As you can see on here, you can set it all up, and it's got a jack there for me to plug into my amps. Now I've got two amps. I've got a Fender LT25, which was the first amp that I bought to replace the amp that came with my initial guitar. And I've also now got a Spark amp. Now, the Spark amp took the music world by storm, yeah, in the fact that it's not a valve amplifier, yeah, it's electronic, and I can set different tones and levels and everything either through my phone or through my laptop, which is behind me. But again, it's a beautiful action on here. It means that I can take it away with me when I go on holiday, when Lisa's doing her crafting, because when we go on holiday, we're not these people that can sit on the beach. Hate doing that. Yeah, it's a waste of time for me. Both of us are interested in going around looking at stately homes and everything like that. And then in the evening, all I do is come back and I can play around with the guitar. Yeah. But like I say, Lisa bought me that one, so I've got 4 guitars in total. And like I say, I've been playing or trying to play for 6 years now, and I try and get in at least half an hour, yeah, every alternate day. And the reason I do that is I've been advised through various YouTube channels and that you only need to do practicing for about 5 minutes a day. Now with the app that I use, Musician, yeah, I can play every single day. Now to get a tutor to teach me guitar, you're probably talking more than £25 an hour. With the app that I use, yeah, I can play every single day if I want. And what I tend to do is come up, I will sometimes do half an hour, sometimes I get lost in music, and I'll end up doing an hour or maybe an hour and a half. But what I'm doing is with the app Musician, I'm learning to play music by playing the music that I want to play. And on the app, there's various things like Smoke on the Water, there's loads of Boys Are Back in Town, Still in Love with You by Gary Moore, various things. But I'm learning to play by playing the music I want to learn, not to go through the theoretical side. At the age of 65 this year, I don't really want to be going through that. Yeah, I want to be playing something that I enjoy. One thing I've also got for my lovely little granddaughter, and I bought her this off eBay for £15. Yeah, and she absolutely loves it. Yeah, it's a nice little guitar. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. Yeah, why they were sending it on, I don't know. But Lily loves that. But in school at the moment, she's been learning to play the ukulele. Yeah, and I had the great honour, myself and my wife, to go and watch Lily play the ukulele at the school just a few months ago. Yeah, she didn't want to play it initially. She was frightened of getting up in front of people. And we'd said to her, look, if you don't want to do it, Lily, speak to your teacher, yeah, and tell her that you don't want to get up and play. Yeah, she was in with another group with children that she plays in school with. And we were quite surprised when we got to the school, she was in there holding a ukulele. Yeah, now this was after she can get very anxious at times. Yeah. And then she started playing and she was loving it. And then since then, whenever she comes home, I normally pick her up on a Wednesday. She'll come home with me and we'll come up and we'll play for half an hour or so in what we call, this is what we call our cruising room. This is where Lisa's got all of her craft stuff and I've got my music laid out. And as I say, I use the laptop behind me here, yeah, to actually to play, and I can record through that as well. So that's me and my music. I love playing music. It's very therapeutic. You just get lost in your own little world. So any hobbies that you've got, yeah, throw yourself into them. I didn't think I would be here 6 years on and still playing the guitars. I definitely didn't think that I would own 4. Yeah, but like I say, Lisa's told me I'm not allowed to buy anymore, and it's strange because we were at Matlock just a few weeks ago, and we walked past a shop and there was about half a dozen guitars in there, and I kept looking and she just told me to take my eyes away. So that's me in music. Sorry I'm not out tabbing. I will do as soon as I get the holiday over and my back's back to normal. I'm trying to keep everything going because while we're on holiday next week, I've also booked to go and play golf at Rufford Park, which is near Centre Parks in Nottingham. I played there before. I've also mapped the course there before for Sky Caddy. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't do anything to upset my holiday, and definitely not upset things, so I can go out and play golf. My mate Keith and Trace Around, they're out in Hull this weekend, I believe. Yeah, they're going up there for Hull for Heroes, as it's called. So you might not see anything on Keith at the moment, and that's Let's Tab 59. But they're taking a little bit of a break as well, I believe, because both of us have been doing quite a lot. At the moment, this evening, I'm going to the Royal British Legion branch here in Mount Sorrel, and I'm going to be taking over as the Poppy Appeal organiser. Yeah, the person that does it at present is standing down. John done a brilliant job in the time that I've known him here, absolutely fantastic. But it's time for him and his wife to take a lovely break. They are busy with the Poppy Appeal every single year, but John just wants to take a bit of a break. He's now in his late 70s, and deservedly so. He needs someone to take over. When I heard about it, I honestly jumped at the chance. Yeah, it's time for me to give something back in my time. So if you're new to the channel, yeah, please consider subscribing. Not telling you what to do. We don't do that. Yeah, you've got your own minds. Same as Keith. He always said, please consider it. It's been a pleasure getting all these new subscribers coming in and messaging me. So if you haven't messaged me, drop me a line. Let me know what your hobbies are. Yeah, tell me what you're interested in, and let's get some banter going. Yeah, there's nothing better than banter, is there? Tomorrow, I'm at the Veterans Harbour in Loughborough, meeting up with all the old sweats. We're going to be pulling out a sandbag and swinging the old lamp. That's going to be a great morning, as always. Yeah. So to all of you out there, please take care of yourselves, stay safe, get out in this wonderful sunshine if you can. I've got my lollipop duties to do later on this afternoon, so I'm going to be out there getting some sun on me as well. But all of you, have a great weekend. Yeah, I'll probably do a video from Centre Parks just to show you what we're doing out there, bike riding and everything, if my back will take it. Yeah, but all of you, please take care, stay safe, and as both me and Keith always say, let's tab.